Anyway, I'm so excited for First Wednesday. It's really good, you know. And when I was thinking about this, Valentine's Day is coming up, and you know, there's like heart-shaped candies, and you can buy these boxes of chocolate with hearts and candy in it, and I even saw somebody, they advertised a heart-shaped hamburger. That's just dumb. But anyway, but so we use phrases like, you know, you got to have a heart, or people say, well, just trust your heart, or, you know, I'm gonna do this with all my heart, or people say, follow your heart. Now, your heart is more than just this shape that's drawn on the back of a love note or something. It's more than just the muscle that beats in your chest. When we talk about the issues of the heart, that is actually the seat of our emotions. And that's important that we know that it's the seat of our emotions. And so when we talk about that, so that means life is felt beyond what we can actually touch, because there's stuff that goes on inside of us, right? Okay? Now, that sounds really cool and it sounds really mystical, but let me just kind of throw this out there. Anything that draws its energy from emotion is at best short-lived. Okay? So whatever the emotion is, I'm sure that emotion will change. And some people say, well, I don't know if I agree with that. You ready? You got to go to work tomorrow. See, just like that, okay? So, but see, anything that draws its energy from emotion is going to be short-lived at best, and it's going to be deceitful at worst. Watch this, Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. Here's what the prophet Jeremiah said about our heart. He said, a man's heart is deceitful, wicked above measure, who can know it? Here's Dave's version. You ready? Your heart will lie to you. Come on now. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anybody ever have your heart lie to you? Your heart says, I can eat 6 tacos. And your stomach says, I don't think so, pal. Right? But see, your heart will lie to you because it's based on emotion, right? So the reason that we give our heart to the Lord, the reason we love Jesus with all of our heart, is because we know our heart is a lousy GPS. It's a bad way to guide you. Matter of fact, check this out. Top 10 lies we tell ourselves. You ready? The top 10 lies. This is almost like the late night show. The top 10, right? Here it is. Number 10, we lie to ourselves and say, this will only hurt a little. And then it hurts a lot. Number 9, this won't take that long. Number 8, I'm not in that bad a shape. I don't know nothing. I'm just reading these, okay? Number 7, I'm only going to spend this much. And then the fight started, okay? Number 6, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, you guys have done this, right? Number 5, next time that happens, I'm going to... The whistle was perfect timing, thank you. Number 4, I'll never do that again. Number 3, I'll get up early and... Number 2, it gets so much fun. I'm going to exercise, go on a diet, or start next week. And number 1, they know exactly what I mean, right? See, our heart will lie to us. So what happens is the truth is sometimes it feels like in life we're putting out more than we're getting back. And that hurts our feelings. We get wounded in the process, right? So the stuff of life, we get wounded in this. And so we just want to get past it. And so when we're wounded in the battle of life, our natural inclination is to protect ourselves, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. When we're wounded, the natural inclination is to protect ourselves. I remember in high school, my freshman year in high school, I was 4 foot 10 inches tall. Yeah, really, 4 foot 10 inches. And I weighed a solid 95 pounds. And in high school, that's merciless. I saw the inside of pretty much every trash can in school. But the reason I bring that up is I remember I was talking to this girl that evidently was somebody's girl, and this gargantuan guy started pummeling me. And I was trying not to embarrass myself, but I got hurt. because I was 4'10" and 95 pounds. He was pounding me, and I made the really brave move of going into a fetal position in high school. That's bad, okay? And so the natural inclination is that we try to protect ourselves. And see, sometimes I think we set ourselves up for disappointment. There's actually three kinds of relationships. And you might even want to write this down, okay? There's serving relationships, healing relationships, and mutual relationships. A serving relationship is when you're in a relationship and you're just trying to help somebody out. You don't expect anything in return. You're just trying to help them out. As a matter of fact, they'll say, hey, let me repay you. You go, no, this is good. I just wanted to do that. It's just the right thing to do. Now, the healing relationships is when you're on the other side of that, where somebody is helping you get stronger, better, learn more, whatever the case is, and they expect nothing in return. And it's the mutual relationships where it's just a give and take and goes back and forth. Now, here's the problem. The way that we get hurt is we assume relationships are mutual. We assume that. And they're not. Matter of fact, you will have very, very few mutual relationships in your life. Very few. But when we assume that because we gave this, they're going to give that back. Because we did this, they'll do this back. That's where we get disappointed. And what happens is we feel like, well, now that they've got what they wanted, they don't have any use for me. And we get wounded in the process, right? Now we say, well that's a defect in other people. No, that's a defect in me. That's a defect in us. So we have to be able to learn how to navigate this. And so to pull that together, to keep us from being frustrated in relationships, God will often use sandpaper people. Oh, this is going to hurt. God will often use in your life sandpaper people to help shape us. I could probably just quit right now. I'll go home depressed, right? Now this stuff, it comes in a variety of grits. You know, there's like the 40, 60 grit. This is rough. It'll take the hide off, man. It does. It gets a whole lot done, but it leaves a whole big old mess, right? Then there's the 400 grit. It's really easy. It doesn't like the real fine work, and so basically the 400 grit, you can't really even tell it did anything, right? And so here's what I'm saying. So when the really rough stuff, it takes a lot off, but it causes a lot of damage. Then the really fine stuff, it doesn't really do much damage, but it doesn't really do much good either, right? And so here's the thing. I want you to look at those around you, as well as that person that stares back at you in the mirror. I want you to look at those people like sandpaper, okay? Now here's what we know. So see, some people are really rough. Some people are you're around and they just kind of rub you the wrong way. It's just really, really hard, and you're thinking, yee. And so the 40, 60 grit people, the rough people, they're exhausting, right? How many of you guys know some 40, 60 grit people, right? Are you sitting by them? It's just rough, just cause a lot of damage, and then some people are like the 400. It's like, that's kind of easy, that's not too bad. Now, what happens with the heavy grit is those people around you, they cause a lot of damage and walk away. So, well, that's just the way I am. Take it or leave it. Like that. Now the 400 grit, they're easy on us. They don't require much, not much change. But when things start happening, they go, hey, I'm not in this, man. Hey, this is your life. I'm here, right? Now, so here's the deal. So either way we get damaged in the process, most of the people in our life, are about the 150 grit range, kind of in the middle. Sometimes they're kind of hard on us. You know some people that are kind of hard on you? How many know some people that are kind of hard to take? You're afraid, huh? Okay. How many know some people that when they're around, it's like, that didn't do anything. Just, as a matter of fact, I've had these people where the 400 grit people that come around, so, you're going through a crisis, and they say, I'm just going to pray that Jesus will help you. And then I know they don't. They're just saying this stuff. See, but most people, they're like the middle of the road, the 150 grit kind of thing. And so now here's the deal. When we are constantly living this life together, especially with the people that are close to us, oftentimes in our life, this is how it works. It's constant. It just happens that way. This is called conflict. It's called disagreement. It's called going through difficult times. There's all these kind of things that happen in our life. There's a constant wearing on us, and it changes all the time. Sometimes for the good, sometimes not so good, right? Now, when we look at this friction as part of life, as something to be avoided, then we go through life and we leave on all the rough edges. And we're leaving all the rough edges. We say, I'm fine or whatever, but what we don't realize, we cause a lot of damage to the world around us, right? And what really hinders God's work in us is not allowing our lives to be shaped by the people that he's put around us. So today, I want to thank God for all the 150 great people in my life. I want to thank God for the people that helped shape me and mold me, and I didn't like it sometimes. Well, I didn't like it most times. I mean, I never come across somebody with a sandpaper personality when it's gone. I didn't go, wow, thank you so much. I didn't do that. It's like, when are you going home? You know, that kind of stuff, right? Okay? But God uses them to sand off the rough edges in me, right? And now, it's not so much the 46th Street, you know, those kind, or not the 400, but see, it's those people that really help shape who I am. Now, when I took wood shop for the first time, do they do wood shop anymore? Okay, so when I took wood shop, so one of the very first lessons was, get this, sanding techniques. What do you mean? You know, Mr. Miyagi, sand the floor. So, sanding, what's a sanding technique? So here's the way the lesson was said. Here's what the teacher said. If you sand with the grain, the project gets smoother. When you sand against the grain, the project gets rougher. Okay? Simple lesson, right? And so here's what he said. This is a statement I want you to get. He said, when you're going against the grain, don't adjust the paper, adjust the project. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Oftentimes in our life, we want to adjust the paper. You know, you just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm going with Mr. 400, baby. He's easy, right? Don't demand a lot. Easy. Gives me what I want. It's all good. But when going to get stuff, Mr. 400, he's gone, right? So that's what he's saying. So what happens when it's rubbing you the wrong way? Adjust the project, not the paper, right? And see, so what happens now for a lot of us, when the stuff seems to go against the grain, it leaves kind of a bitter taste in our mouth. So there's this story in book of Exodus chapter 15. It starts at verse 22. But to kind of set this up, God's people were in Egypt and through the 10 plagues, all this kind of stuff. If you really want to know, watch the movie. But so they come out of Egypt, cross. That works, right? Oh, the book works, but I just don't assume you guys are readers. Okay, so anyway, they come across the Red Sea. God splits the sea in half. They walk across. He drowns Pharaoh's army. So now they're walking through the desert, and they have no water. It sounds like another movie, right? So here it is, Exodus chapter 15, verse 22. Then Moses led the people of Israel on from the Red Sea, and they moved out into the wilderness of Shur and were there 3 days without water. It's a long time. Arriving at Marah, they couldn't drink the water because the water was bitter. That's why they call the place Marah, meaning bitter. Verse 24, then the people turned against Moses, adjusting the paper, not the project, right? Must we die of thirst, they demanded. Moses pleaded with the Lord to help them, and the Lord showed him a tree to throw into the water, and the water became sweet. Okay, so at times we come through these ragged places in life, and we just want some refreshment. We want to say, can I catch a break? Anybody ever say that? Can I get checked? Can everybody just shut up for a little bit, right? You ever do that kind of stuff? You know, ladies, you lock the bathroom door. You don't have to do anything. Just lock the door and just go. I'm just curious. You don't have to tell me for sure, but are there any moms here where you faked being asleep? You know, don't tell nobody. You know, it's like you hear people saying stuff and the moves like. Okay, so sometimes you just want refreshing. You want things, and see, and so here's the deal. So when this goes, sometimes all we seem to find is more friction, more sandpaper, more stuff. It's like, and it makes it bitter. So for these people, they might have thought, you know, hey man, how did God this can't be God? Why would He lead us to a place with bitter water that we can't? We're thirsty. What is the deal? I mean, this isn't what we asked for. Did we make a wrong turn? I bet Moses screwed this up. That's what happened. I know it was him. He's been lying to us the whole time. It's been a ploy, right? Or you say, well, maybe we missed it. Or people say this, God is punishing us. I've heard people say, it's God's judgment. Listen, there is a judgment day, but so far it's not today. You're lucky, right? And so, or see what happens. So, or this is some mysterious testing he's putting us through. So these are all conclusions we come to. But see, the reason that those waters are called Mara or bitter is because they were salty waters, very salty. And so the way that a body of water gets salty like that is that it doesn't have anything going in, and the water just diminishes, so it gets more and more bitter, right? And that's how it works. So for us, when we wrestle with a heart of bitterness, this is where I'm going to. When we wrestle with a heart of bitterness, usually it's because we don't have anything fresh going in, and our spirit starts drying up. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And you're just putting out and doing this and doing that, all this kind of stuff, and you're not putting anything fresh inside. You become embittered. That's where people feel like, well, how come I'm the only one doing this work? And my God, doesn't anybody know how to change toilet paper? What is wrong with you people? You know what I'm talking about? I've heard this before. The toilet paper does not go in the back of the toilet. So, but what happens? We become bitter, right? And so here's what Luke chapter 6, verse 45 says. The good man, out of the good stored up in him, brings forth good stuff. But if you don't store any good in, you won't have good stuff come out. This isn't even really so. And relationally, it works the same way. In fact, I saw this little kid where his sister was acting up and mom was just at her wit's end. And the little boy turned to his mom and he said, "Mom, somebody needs a nap." Right? You see, so there's nothing good. So it works that way in relationship. Now, here's the deal. Now, oftentimes our solution to that kind of frustration, that kind of bitterness, is we think we need to try harder. Listen, working harder makes you tireder. I know that's not a word. I just threw that in there. But you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Anybody know what it is to get tireder? Yeah. Right? And so it's just a bad solution. So it's only when we pour something in fresh, that's when we can expect to get something fresh back out. Here's the cool part about how God works. If we can pour in something fresh, we actually get way more out than we put in. But you can't just let it keep drying up. See, when bitterness is poured out, bitterness doesn't make it any better. See, so what these people did when they were in the wilderness and they were frustrated with this, they responded to bitterness with bitterness. Bitterness never makes bitterness better. You might even want to write that down. Okay? Bitterness doesn't make bitterness. So here's the deal. So here's Moses' solution. I love this. So when faced with bitterness, Moses called out to God. And here's this. I love this prayer. God, I don't know what to do. Is that your prayer tonight? God, I'm facing a tough situation. I thought it was going to be like this and didn't go this way. I'm sick of the stinking sandpaper that people are just killing me. I don't know what to do. Here's God's response to those that cry out to him. God showed him a tree. Now this is just kind of a weird story. So it's this salty water that's undrinkable. And so God shows him a tree and Moses throws the tree into the water and now it becomes drinkable. It's like, that's just a weird story. But check this out. Here's the similarities. In the New Testament, the tree that God showed Moses for us would be the cross. So here's what I'm saying. When you're struggling with bitterness, when you're having a hard time understanding, when you're looking at a situation that really seems completely unfair, and it probably is, apply the cross of grace. Apply the cross of grace, because here's the thing, friends, you've got to get past this. You can't get stuck there. If those people would have stayed there at those bitter waters, they would have died. We've got to get past that. So I think the Lord is showing you a tree. And so Moses threw that tree in. For us, it's the cross. It's the love that we don't deserve. And so when we throw in the love that we don't deserve into bitterness, it changes our heart. And so our bitterness becomes sweet. Is this starting to make sense, right? So we have to put some kind of grace in. Did anybody in this room deserve salvation? Did anybody in this room deserve to be forgiven? Did anybody say, you know what, I've earned some really good sucky points. Here I am. I'm doing Nobody does that. So what you did is God applied grace to your mistake. So we know what it's like. We've been Mr. 40 grit, right? We've been Mr. 400, like, don't get me sucked into it. We understand that. So we understand when we apply the cross to our life, God takes our errors, our sins, our mess ups, and the cross wipes them away. Okay? So listen. So he does the same thing with bitterness. Because bitterness stuck in your heart would destroy your heart. Now, here's what I understand. I understand when it talks about forgiveness and grace. I know that's a big order. Forgiving people is hard, right? Anybody know what I'm talking about? And I always say, well, I forgive you. And then we walk away thinking, if you make one more move, I will just... You know, you scan the newspaper for their obituary. You know, but just kidding. That was bad, huh? That was really bad. But see, that shows really hard. So how can you show grace through bitterness? Is that a good question? So when I'm frustrated, or I'm angry, or I'm hurt, I've been mistreated, I feel like maybe people let me down, or God let me down, and I just don't like to. How do you show grace through that? Let the cross show through you first before it shows on them. See, because when the cross shows on me first, I know this will come as a big surprise, but I'm not perfect. Yeah, me too, yeah. I realize I need grace. I need grace every day because sometimes my attitude is not their best. Anybody know what I'm talking about? I mean, I know that this don't happen all the time, but every once in a while you wake up in a bad mood. Sometimes you try to take stuff out on the people that love you the most. Sometimes you need a nap. Right? So when the cross shines on me first, and it's got to shine through me to them. The same grace that was shown me, I need to show them. Right? Is it simple stuff, right? You guys got this, right? See, here's the way. See, bitterness will destroy the person who holds it way faster than it will destroy the person who did it. Okay? Bitterness will destroy the person who holds it way faster than it will destroy the person who did it. So the importance of letting go of bitterness has nothing to do with them at all. At all. It has everything to do with you can't let that poison your heart. You can't let it be the bitter water that flows out of you. So watch this. I love the way that this story comes out. So what we do is we cast in grace. We throw our tree into the bitterness. And God takes the bitter and makes it sweet. People say, why would I do that? I love the way this story comes out. Because if you keep reading in Exodus chapter 15, see, maybe it's not so much what you're getting out of it. Maybe it's what you're putting into it, right? So now think about all the drama that's going around those waters of Mara. And it's, oh, it's finally water and you can't even drink the water. It's like, oh, man, what is the deal? Moses, you jacked us all up. Oh, this is so terrible. All that kind of stuff going on, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I want to encourage you to push past bitterness. Here's the request I'm making for you right now. Can you take that bitterness like you're holding it in your hand right now and drop it and walk away? Say, well, why would I do that? You don't understand. So this is so important. You take the bitterness that's been poisoning your heart, poisoning your soul, poisoning your attitude, affecting your relationships. Open your hand, drop it, and start moving. Move past it. If you're looking at this story, it's in Exodus chapter 15 and verse 27. They came to a place called Elim. E-L-I-M, Elim. So what did they find at Elim? 12 springs of fresh water. 70 palm trees with big old giant dates just hanging off of it. Lots of shade, lots of refreshment. Literally an oasis in the desert. So get this. I know nobody probably knows the answer. I looked it up, so I know. So don't think I'm smart. I just researched it. You could probably Google it if you want to. I don't even know if Google knows this. I actually might know something Google doesn't. From Mara to Elam, 12 miles. It's like going from Porterville to Lindsay, 12 miles. You want to know what's significant about 12 miles? Guess how far this group could travel in one day. Guess, just guess. What? How'd you know that? 12 miles. So the day that they released the bitterness, the day that they cast in grace, the day that they said, you know, we're going to move that. It took one day to step into God's oasis, God's promise, God's refreshing, God's goodness. That's what I'm saying today. What you don't understand where you're at today, you are that close to your blessing. You're that close to your breakthrough. You are that close to God doing incredible stuff. So here's the deal. What you're holding on to is actually holding on to you. What you're holding on to is actually holding on to you. Let go of Mara. Let go of the bitterness. And get your life moving forward again. Where you can step into a place of incredible refreshing. Could you imagine the feeling with those people? They're like, they've been in the desert for 4 days, like, oh my God, this is horrible. And then you come upon this place like, what? Yeah, it felt like hitting the lottery, just perfect, right? But you got to let go. See, when we hold bitterness, everything that we see is seen through a lens of bitterness. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Everything you see, it's got that taste, that. See, when you're wrestling with bitterness, you feel that all the time. You look at that. You're looking for fault. You're looking for problems. You're looking for, oh, I don't like this. Because you're looking through a lens of bitterness. But here's what I need you to know. When God looks at you, God looks through a lens of grace and say, you know what? I'm not gonna judge them for their failures. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick them up. I'm gonna dust them off and I'm gonna get them going again. I want to get them from Mara, from the bitterness, over to the place of Elam where they get the refreshing. So the same way that God looks at you through the lens of grace is exactly the same way that He looks at the people around you that cause you to bitterness. He looked at them through grace. Here's what I've discovered. If I can forgive others, it releases me. Now, me forgiving others, I don't know if they got it straightened out or not. Sometimes when I forgive somebody, I don't have anything to do with them. Is that refreshing for you? So, well, I thought you forgive me. You know. Anyway, that's probably another message. But see, grace has nothing to do with what they did or didn't do. Grace has nothing to do with what happened to you or what didn't happen to you. Grace has nothing to do even with what you've done. What grace says, you know what? We're going to draw a line in the sand right here, and we're going to start your life from here and move it forward. Okay? Could I get you to bow your heads and close your eyes for just a moment, please? Here's the big question of the day, guys. What are you holding on to that's hurting you? I just wanted to, we're sitting in this room tonight. This is as simple as it gets. Inside of your heart, inside of you, you're realizing, you know what? This is exactly where I'm at. This is speaking to me just perfectly. This is where my heart's at, and I need to let that go. If that's you, just show me a hand real quick. I'm right back down. Dozens of people, dozens. Could y'all stand? I want the worship team to just go ahead and hurry on up here, okay? See, here's how this works. Your heart has lied to you. Come on, listen to me. Your heart has lied to you. Your heart told you that you're offended. Your heart told you that you're hurt. Your heart told you that you were betrayed, that you were mistreated. Your heart lied to you. It's like, wait a second. No, I was. No. See, when my heart belongs to Jesus, when my heart, see, it's not even mine. In that song that we were singing, what's it say about the lie? Remind me of that. No lie he won't tear down, no wall he won't kick down. Today, we need to tear down the lie. Tear down the lie so you can get past the place of bitterness that you've been holding on to, and it's actually been holding on to you, and get you to a place of refreshing where you feel the joy. You feel like you're supposed to feel. You know, where you don't have to just look at things like, Argh. So here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to worship our way out of bitterness. We're going to worship our way out of bitterness, right? Say, can you do that? Yes, you can. Here's what the Apostle Paul says. If any of you has joy, sing a song, right? Sing a song. So we're going to worship our way out. Our prayer partners are up here. Here's the deal. Maybe it's somebody that you just say, you know, I just need to let this go, and I want you to partner with me in prayer. Right? But our prayer partners are here. But here's what I want to do. I want you to really worship your way out of bitterness. You're going to open that up. You're going to throw it down, and you're going to get moving. You're going to get past this. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, your bitterness is going to be a memory. It's not going to be a constant companion. Okay? All right? So we're going to worship our way out. Right? You ready? You ready? I mean worship. I don't mean sing. I mean worship. I mean give it all out there. Just do that. Okay? Come on. Let's just do that.